They've been running, testing, pushing, disappearing, but deep down, they already know you are the one they can't replace. Every interaction, every push and pull, every silent retreat, they're all subtle ways of confirming what they already sense. You are different. You're not someone they can bend, manipulate, or fit into a box. From the very first moment, you carried an energy they couldn't touch, a presence they couldn't diminish. And now, even in their attempts to withdraw, to create distance, there's a quiet panic beneath the surface. Because unlike everyone else they've tried to control or escape, you expose the truth. They cannot have you on their terms. They cannot hold you without losing themselves in the process. Notice how their behavior changes around you. They test, they vanish, they act as if they don't care. But each move is a reflection of fear, not freedom. They fear what you represent. Someone who won't settle for their games, someone who won't compromise their worth, to fill a void they are incapable of understanding. The more they push away, the more evident it becomes that you are not just another fleeting connection. You are the one they compare everyone else to, and it terrifies them because no one else measures up. Their attempts to distract themselves, to flirt with distance, only confirm what you've always known. You are the emotional anchor they secretly crave, the one who embodies everything they pretend to avoid. It's not about control. It's not about conquest. It's about recognition. Deep down, they recognize your value, your integrity, and the strength you carry quietly but unwaveringly. You don't need to prove yourself, to chase or to explain. Every glance they steal when they think you're not watching, every subtle effort to gauge your reaction, is them acknowledging what they cannot openly admit. You are the final standard. And the truth is, they already know it. This knowledge changes everything, because it shifts the power dynamic silently but decisively. You are no longer the one trying to fit their expectations, to anticipate their needs, to navigate their unpredictable emotional terrain. They are the ones trying to understand how you remain untouchable, how your presence lingers even when you're not near. Your calm, your confidence, your refusal to play the roles they've scripted is what makes you irreplaceable. They may test boundaries, they may retreat into avoidance, but nothing they do can erase the truth. You are the one they measure against, consciously or unconsciously, and the realization of that power fills them with a quiet tension they can't easily release. And so, as you move forward, remember this: their games, their distance, their disappearing acts, they are not a reflection of your worth. They are a reflection of their inability to contain it. You are the end game. You are the one they cannot replace, and no matter how hard they try to escape or deny it, that truth exists, quietly shaping every thought they have about you, whether they admit it or not. Every other person is just a comparison, and they fail. That's the reality they face every time they interact with you, whether they admit it or not. Avoidants don't chase you simply because they like you. They chase you because you expose a truth they have spent a lifetime avoiding. The gap between control and genuine feeling. You show them without even trying what it means to be fully present, fully yourself, and fully unshakable. And that is terrifying for someone whose entire emotional world revolves around detachment, distance, and a carefully maintained facade of indifference. Every smile, every moment of calm, every confident boundary you set becomes a mirror they cannot break. In their eyes, everyone else falls short. They lack the depth, the strength, or the quiet authority that you naturally carry. They sense it instinctively. You are the standard, the measure of what they secretly fear no one else can ever reach. It's subtle, almost invisible to the casual observer, but the avoidant feels it in every interaction. The way you hold yourself, the way you respond without overreacting, the way you remain calm when they push boundaries, it all signals something they cannot manipulate. You are unshakable, and that unshakability is a silent threat to the world they have built on control and avoidance. They cannot bend you, coerce you, or force you into the emotional roles they assign to everyone else. And in that realization, they feel something they rarely, if ever, admit: fear. Not fear of you in a conventional sense, but fear of losing their sense of dominance, of losing the illusion that they can control connection, affection, or intimacy. You are the one person who makes their games irrelevant because you are beyond the reach of their usual tactics. And when you step back, when you stop trying to win them over or appease their unpredictable whims, that fear becomes undeniable. Watch what happens when you step back. Their mask starts cracking. The avoidant thrives on distance and independence, yes, but when someone like you becomes untouchable, their sense of control begins to slip. Every vanishing act, every test, every cold shoulder, they are all signs of silent panic. They are trying desperately to regain what they sense they might lose. And here is the crucial part: their attempts to pull you back, to test your boundaries, to elicit a reaction, are proof of a truth they cannot openly acknowledge. You are their emotional end game. They may not say it, they may never admit it, but everything in their behavior points to the fact that you are the one who matters more than they are willing to reveal. You see, avoidants are masters of distance, but they are not immune to the pull of someone who refuses to be shaken. Your calm, your boundaries, your refusal to fit into their games, it disarms them. And it is in that disarming, in that moment when they see that their usual tactics do not work, that you hold true power. They try to retreat, they try to vanish, they try to act indifferent, but it is all performative. Beneath the surface, every step they take to pull away is a reflection of their recognition of your value. Every calculated move, every testing of your patience, every attempt to gauge your reaction, all of it reveals what they fear most: that you are not someone they can simply contain or replace. The more they test, the more you realize their weakness. It becomes clear that their power lies not in their detachment, but in your willingness to engage with it. And when you refuse to play their game, the tables turn entirely. Your absence, your quiet confidence, your decision to prioritize yourself and your own peace is what causes them to falter. You are no longer competing for attention or validation. Instead, you are holding your own space, unshaken and unapologetic. And that is the exact moment they sense, with almost a physical intensity, that they are facing someone unlike anyone they have ever encountered. Someone who cannot be manipulated, controlled, or taken for granted. Someone who is, in every possible way, untouchable. It's in these moments of absence that the avoidant's true feelings become visible, not through words, but through action. They may return, suddenly warm and engaging, as if nothing ever happened. They may test again, try new strategies, attempt to provoke jealousy, or spark emotional reactions, but each move is a silent admission. They notice when you are gone. They feel the emptiness where your presence used to be. They cannot replace what you offer, and that realization shakes them more than any confrontation ever could. Every attempt to regain control, to manipulate the emotional dynamic, only reinforces the fact that you are the person they cannot dismiss. The absence you create is not emptiness, it is a mirror reflecting their dependency on what they can never truly possess. And the truth is, this is exactly where your power lies. Avoidance, fear, intensity, emotional exposure, and vulnerability, yet they are drawn to it when it exists in a form they cannot dominate. By being steady, untouchable, and unwavering, you place yourself in a position of ultimate leverage. You are no longer chasing, pleading, or proving your worth. You simply exist as someone who refuses to compromise their identity. And that refusal is the quiet force that shifts the dynamic entirely. You are no longer a player in their game. You are the standard against which all else is measured. And in that quiet, almost invisible shift, you claim your power. So the next time they vanish, the next time they test, the next time they push, remember this: you are not the one reacting out of insecurity or fear. You are the one holding your ground, the one who has become their end game without ever needing to say it. They may never admit it, they may never articulate it, but every move, every attempt to draw you back, every flicker of attention is proof of what you already know. You are unshakable. You are untouchable. You are the final measure they cannot surpass. And that truth, quiet as it may be, defines the entire dynamic. In the end, it is not about chasing, not about winning arguments, not about bending to their rules. It is about being fully yourself, fully present, and fully aware of your value. Every step back, every boundary set, every moment of calm detachment communicates more than words ever could. They sense it, they feel it, and deep down, they know you are the one they cannot replace, the one they cannot manipulate, the one who will always define the standard against which everyone else fails. All their games, you've already seen through them. Every push, every pull, every silent treatment, every guilt trip, it's all predictable, all rehearsed, all designed to test your boundaries, your patience, your reactions, and yet you don't flinch. You don't react emotionally. You remain calm, poised, untouchable. That's the paradox that terrifies them. The more they try to manipulate, to provoke, to destabilize you, the more you prove that their strategies are powerless against someone who knows their worth and refuses to be shaken. Every test they throw your way becomes a mirror, reflecting not your weakness, but their inability to control you. They want to see you bend, to watch you crumble, to feel that familiar rush of dominance, but you refuse to give it to them. And in that refusal lies your quiet, unassailable power. Avoidants are masters of emotional games because they've learned that closeness scares them. Yet when they meet someone like you, someone who cannot be manipulated or owned, their entire system begins to falter. Push-pull patterns, the silent treatments, the subtle guilt. They think these are weapons, but they fail every single time. You've already passed every test because your strength isn't performative, it's inherent. It's not about proving anything to them, it's about maintaining your identity, your boundaries, your sense of self, and that unshakable energy, that refusal to be rattled, is the ultimate lesson they cannot absorb. You are untouchable because you have decided that no game, no manipulation, no emotional ploy will dictate your worth or your behavior. Every interaction confirms it for them. Whether they consciously acknowledge it or not, they see you standing firm, unmoved by their attempts to draw you in or push you away. They see that their usual methods, disappearing, testing, withholding, do nothing to destabilize you. And every failed attempt chips away at the illusion of control they thought they held. In their eyes, you are the anomaly, the uncatchable, the one who refuses to be slotted into the roles they assign to everyone else. And that realization is both terrifying and magnetic to them. They are drawn to you because you are the only one who exists outside the rules of their game, the only one who forces them to confront the truth they've hidden from themselves for so long. This leads naturally into the illusion of control, the grand theater of avoidance. They act like the game is theirs, like they are the ones holding the power, like every disappearance, every test, every emotional manipulation is evidence of dominance. But in reality, the power dynamic has shifted quietly, almost invisibly. The one who walks away, the one who remains unshaken, the one who refuses to play by their rules, this is the one who holds control. You define the terms now. You set the boundaries, you determine the rhythm of engagement and withdrawal. Their attempts to dictate or manipulate are futile because you have already chosen your path, and no game they play can alter it. Avoidants believe that detachment equals dominance, that disappearing and withholding emotional availability makes them untouchable, that emotional distance ensures control. But they forget one crucial truth. Real control is not about who can retreat first or who can withhold attention longer. Real control is about inner stability, self-possession, and clarity of boundaries. By remaining unshaken, by refusing to chase, by refusing to react to provocation, you hold the ultimate power. You are the one dictating the dynamic, whether they admit it or not. Every attempt to pull you back, every test, Every emotional ploy is proof that they recognize your authority, even if they cannot consciously verbalize it. And here's the fascinating paradox. The harder they try to assert control, the clearer it becomes that they are already reacting to yours. Every test is an unconscious acknowledgement that you are untouchable. Every disappearance, every cold shoulder, every manipulation is an effort to gauge your reactions, to test the limits of your calm, to see if you can be shaken. And every time you remain composed, every time you maintain your identity, every time you refuse to bend, you confirm the reality they cannot escape. You are in control. The illusion of their dominance is shattered silently, invisibly, but powerfully. The unshakable truth is this: their games only succeed if you allow them to define your behavior. The moment you refuse to engage on their terms, the moment you stop reacting, you reclaim authority. You are no longer a participant in their manipulation. You are an observer of their attempts to influence someone who cannot be swayed. That is why your calm, your refusal to chase, and your unyielding presence are more potent than any argument, any confrontation, any emotional plea could ever be. You embody control in its purest form, not through aggression, not through dominance, but through quiet, unwavering self-possession. It's also important to recognize how their push-pull tactics reveal their inner conflict. When they disappear, it is not a sign of freedom or strength. It is a reaction to the realization that someone else, someone they cannot manipulate, holds more influence over the dynamic than they do. When they test boundaries, it is not because they are powerful, it is because they are uncertain, desperate to see if your stability is real. Every attempt to provoke, every guilt trip, every silent treatment is a reflection of their internal panic. They fear losing what they cannot control. And in every instance, your refusal to react, your steadfast presence, quietly erodes the illusion that they hold the upper hand. By holding your ground, by remaining consistent, and by refusing to chase or bend, you are effectively teaching them the one lesson they struggle to learn. Control is not taken, it is inherent. It comes from clarity, from self-respect, from knowing your own value, and from refusing to compromise your identity to satisfy someone else's need for dominance. They may never admit it, they may never articulate it, but their behavior reflects the truth. You have already passed every test, and they know it. Every move they make is now a response to your unshakable energy, not a measure of their own power. Even when they attempt to pull you back into their world, when they try to reignite tension or provoke reactions, the dynamic has already shifted. You are no longer operating on their terms. You are no longer the participant in their game. You are the observer, the untouchable, the standard against which all else is measured. And that is why, no matter how hard they push, no matter how far they withdraw, no matter how carefully they construct their tests, they cannot break you. Every attempt to assert dominance only reinforces the truth. You define the dynamic, and they are responding to your energy, not the other way around. Ultimately, this is the quiet power you hold over someone who thrives on avoidance. They may never openly acknowledge it. They may continue to disappear, to test, to push, and to pull. But all of it is under your influence, even if they cannot see it. By remaining untouchable, by refusing to react, and by holding your boundaries firmly, you assert the ultimate control. You are the one they measure against. You are the one they cannot manipulate. You are the one who has already passed every test, and they know it. And in that truth lies your power, quiet but undeniable, unshakable and final. Sometimes silence speaks louder than anything they could say. You may not even realize the power you carry in moments when words aren't exchanged. But to an avoidant, every pause, every calm breath, every subtle shift in your energy sends a message that cannot be denied. They notice it immediately. They notice the way you carry yourself, the quiet confidence in your posture, the unwavering steadiness in your gaze. These are not things you broadcast. They are intrinsic, almost imperceptible. But for someone who thrives on detecting weakness, hesitation, or vulnerability, they hit like a spotlight on a truth they have long tried to ignore. Every measured gesture, every calm response to their games, every refusal to chase or bend, signals one unshakable fact: you are not someone they can manipulate, and you are not someone they can replace. Avoidants are experts at detecting emotional cues, but their understanding of them is often limited by fear. They fear intensity, they fear vulnerability, and they fear attachment. But when they encounter someone who embodies it with quiet power, someone who demonstrates strength through authenticity, they are disarmed. Your self-respect, your boundaries, your calm detachment, they are invisible weapons that cannot be countered by their usual tactics. Every attempt to provoke, to guilt, to push, or to withdraw is met with the same composed energy, the same unwavering presence. And with each passing moment, they feel it more acutely. You are the one they cannot replace, the one they cannot bend, and the one they cannot fully understand or control. It is in this silent dynamic that your power becomes undeniable. While they may try to rationalize, justify, or hide their feelings, their subconscious is broadcasting a simple truth: you are the emotional constant they have been searching for without ever admitting it. They notice the difference immediately. Others may bend, conform, or react emotionally, but you do not. Others may compromise themselves to gain attention, affection, or approval, but you remain steadfast. And this steadfastness, this calm, unyielding presence, communicates more than any words ever could. You are untouchable, unreplaceable, and incomparable. They recognize your value even when they resist admitting it. And here is the paradox. Avoidants fear the very qualities you embody: intensity, emotional availability, authenticity, but at the same time, they are drawn to them in a way they cannot explain. They crave the depth, the steadiness, and the unshakable energy that you carry, because it awakens something in them they have long suppressed. They want connection, but they cannot fully allow it because attachment terrifies them. Yet every interaction, every glance, every subtle energy shift reminds them that they have found someone unlike anyone else. Someone who exposes their emotional limitations while simultaneously offering the stability they secretly long for. They've tried with everyone else, and nothing compares. This is the realization that avoidants experience quietly, often without words. You are the benchmark against which every other connection is measured, and by that comparison, everyone else fails. It is not about perfection. It is about the undeniable truth that you possess qualities they have been unable to encounter elsewhere. You are the emotional paradox they cannot reconcile, someone they want, deeply and irresistibly, but someone they cannot control. They may push, they may pull, they may retreat into familiar avoidance patterns, but the recognition remains. You are the standard. You are the one they secretly admire, fear, and desire simultaneously. Avoidants fear intensity because it requires vulnerability, which exposes them to loss, rejection, and emotional overwhelm. They fear attachment because it demands honesty, presence, and accountability, things they have long avoided. Yet when they meet someone who embodies these qualities naturally, someone who can hold space for themselves and for connection without bending to fear, they are forced to acknowledge a truth they cannot deny. You are the emotional anchor they have been searching for all along, even if they would never admit it. You are the constant in a sea of inconsistency, the calm in a storm of avoidance, and the one presence that challenges their assumptions about love, control, and intimacy. This is why your silence, your calm, and your unwavering presence have such a profound effect. You do not need to say a word. They feel it instantly. Every time you maintain boundaries, every time you refuse to chase, every time you respond with composure rather than reaction, you reinforce the truth they cannot escape. You are untouchable, irreplaceable, and incomparable. They notice every detail, consciously or subconsciously, the way you hold yourself, the way you navigate emotional energy, the way you refuse to participate in games that once might have ensnared them. And with each observation, the recognition grows. You are not just another person passing through. You are the one they cannot replicate, the one they cannot replace, the one they cannot control. The paradox of the avoidant dynamic is that their fear and desire coexist in the same space. They fear closeness, but they crave connection. They fear vulnerability, but they are drawn to authenticity. They fear emotional exposure, but they cannot resist someone who embodies stability and self-possession. You are the embodiment of this paradox. You are the calm, grounded, untouchable presence that awakens longing, admiration, and fear all at once. And in that awakening, they recognize a truth that they cannot name. You are the one they have been seeking, the one who meets the unspoken standard of what they truly desire, even if it terrifies them to admit it. Your impact is not in the words you speak, but in the energy you carry. Avoidants are sensitive to emotional resonance, and you communicate power, self-respect, and authenticity in every subtle gesture, every calm decision, every refusal to engage in manipulation. They feel it in the silence between interactions, in the spaces where they expect chaos but find steadiness, in the moments where they anticipate reaction but encounter composure. Your energy speaks volumes, and they are forced to confront it whether they like it or not. And this is what makes you their final one. It is not about control, about dominance, or about who disappears first. It is about undeniable presence, unwavering energy, and the quiet power of someone who knows their own worth. They may never articulate it. They may continue to avoid, to test, to push and pull. But deep down, they recognize that you are incomparable. You are the one they cannot manipulate, the one they cannot control, the one who remains constant, regardless of their attempts to unsettle you. You are the standard, the emotional anchor, the unshakable presence they have been searching for in every connection that came before, without realizing it. This recognition changes the dynamic fundamentally. When they attempt their usual games, they encounter resistance not in the form of anger or confrontation, but in quiet composure, in unshakable self-possession, in the kind of stability they cannot manufacture themselves. They may attempt to provoke, to guilt, or to test, but you have already passed every trial. Their reactions, their manipulations, their disappearances, all confirm what they already know. You are the one they cannot replace. And the realization is both humbling and terrifying for them, because it forces them to confront emotions they have long suppressed and patterns they have long relied upon. And so, in every interaction, in every pause, in every shift of energy, you communicate a truth that no words could capture. You are the final standard, the emotional anchor, the untouchable presence they cannot replicate. They may continue to avoid, to push, to test, and to retreat, but every move they make is shaped by the quiet, undeniable power you hold. You are not just someone they desire, you are someone they recognize as irreplaceable, someone who embodies qualities they have feared, longed for, and finally cannot ignore. They may never admit it, but you are their end game, and they know it. Every attempt to pull you in, every test, every silent retreat, they have been chasing a truth they cannot control. And the reality is this: you didn't win by chasing, by pleading, or by bending yourself to fit their expectations. They lost because you refused to be a role they could manipulate, a character in the story they wanted to script. Your power lies not in their validation, but in your identity, your unwavering boundaries, and your refusal to settle for anything less than what you deserve. You stood firm, you stayed grounded, and you remained unshakable, even when they tried to provoke, to vanish, or to control. This is the ultimate truth about avoidance. Their awareness of your strength does not diminish your worth, it confirms it. Every pull, every test, every silent game they play is an acknowledgement, conscious or not, that you are irreplaceable. You are the standard they cannot meet in anyone else. The person who defines what real presence, consistency, and authenticity look like. And as you step back, remain calm, and continue to honor yourself above all else, you solidify your role as the unmovable force they cannot escape. In the end, it is not about proving anything to them, it is about recognizing your own value, claiming your power and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. You are their end game because you are complete, whole, and untouchable, exactly as you are. And the truth they may never speak aloud is obvious in every reaction, every test, and every attempt to regain control. They know that no one else will ever measure up to you. You are the final standard, the one they secretly fear and admire, and the one they cannot replace. And that knowledge, quiet but undeniable, belongs entirely to you.